beautiful collectors and Transformer fans? It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the incredible support of my patrons, Optibotimus Plus channel members, and those of you that just hit that thumbs up button, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series 86 of the Leader Class GRIMLOCK and Autobot Wheelie. For the package, much like all the Studio Series figures with the Transformers text or the Generation logo up there, you can see this is from Transformers the Movie, which is where they get, the 86 thing. You know what I mean. Of course, you got the open window that fully showcases them. Gorgeous image of Grimlock and Wheelie right there. Same thing here on the side. Other side here has that same image with 86. Come around to the back, and you see images of him in his robot and his dinosaur mode. And of course, big screen inspired, so you get that backdrop, as well as an accurate movie paint scheme. I know a lot of people kind of get a little upset because they look at the packaging and it doesn't really look like that, but the overall look of him is based on how he appeared in that 86 film. But for the packaging on him, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Grimlock and Wheelie opened up and out of their packaging. And I'm just going to say it. We are in the Great Transformers Renaissance. Started all the way back years ago with things like the Power of the Primes, the Combiner Wars, Titan's Return. All of those started us on a path that has led to the Studio Series in figures like this. This guy is terrific. It's not to say that I don't have a few beefs with it, but all in all, wonderful. Now, starting off first, he does come with his backdrop, as all of these Studio Series figures do. As you can see, the background is, I want to, maybe it's like just outside the pit of judgment, where the Dinobots rescued both Cup and Hot Rod. But you see, it's just like a little mechanical style wall. You got the Transformers logo right down there, Studio Series, all that fun stuff. There's rumor that we are going to get at least a couple other of the Dinobots, and it would be really very cool if we got Slag kind of busting through the door and standing on top of one of those Quintesson things. Excuse me. But so here is Grimlock. Now, starting off first with probably the most controversial piece of this set would be Wheelie. Now, it's cool that we're getting a Wheelie. You can see that he actually has a couple little posts on the side of his neck right there. That little slot things right there kind of line up with. You just literally just put that in there, kind of wedge it in, do that on that side. So it stabilizes him. He's securely sitting on Grimlock's neck, which is cool. The problem, though, is he is in a squat pose permanently. And that's fairly stupid because check this out, all right? You have ball joints up here for the shoulders. The overall look of the figure is not bad. I think he turned out, let me move him off to the side so it doesn't focus. But I think he looks pretty good. The face looks good. The color looks really nice. It's a little bit more pink and orange in some areas, which, is accurate in some kind of scenes. Got the nice Autobot logo there. He is holding his slingshot, which is cool. Just back here has a black plastic. But there's one big giant problem with this guy. He doesn't transform, which I'm okay with. I'm not one of those kind of people that freaks out. You got a ball joint here for the neck, which is good, so you can rotate that around. You got ball joints here for the shoulders, so you can swivel that up, in and out. This one can do the same thing, and then you can see it can swivel in so that you can get that slingshot sort of pose where he's pulling back the string, and you can even see that his fingers are sculpted in that position, which is great. No elbow joint, which I'm okay with because you could just leave that off to the side. It doesn't look bad. Then you can even see, you can rotate him at the waist. That's awesome. Come down to the hips. Ball joints. For the hips, nothing at the knee. Absolutely nothing. And I don't know why. Now, you can pop these off and you can probably just have a third-party company give us legs for them. But there's honestly no excuse for Hasbro to not give us a better leg assembly. At least make it swivel or something like that. You can easily still leave, like there's the post that you'll use to have him sit on his shoulder in robot mode. You can leave that there. You can leave those little notches there. So you can bend the legs and get it to where you need it so that you can fit him sitting up there. There's literally no excuse not to put some kind of articulation in the actual leg itself. As it is, I mean, you can kind of get some cool poses with them. Like, for example, have them, like, sitting, kneeling. I don't even know. I mean, you can have them bent down. But, again, I mean, that's actually a little bit tricky to do because you can't bend his knee. I mean, you can angle him back. And, I mean, that's just really very unfortunate. I mean, they even thought to make that removable. Which, come on. Guys, you're killing me here. So, he's constantly going to be pooping. He's in a poop pose. Now, like I said, it doesn't bother me too much. I mean, I think he looks good. This is, I want to say, the Titans Return Wheelie. You can see big size difference between the two. I mean, even if you were to stand him up, he would probably only come up to, it's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, but you can easily just take this guy and bring his legs around and just like I said, you could do that if you really wanted to. I mean, you'd have to kind of position him, but as you can see, you could get him to stand or sit on there perfectly fine. You just have to kind of fiddle with it a little. I mean, there. I mean, he's there, so you could easily do that. So I don't know really what they were thinking with this guy. It's really unfortunate, but it looks good. I think, honestly, it does look better than the Titans Return one that we got. Just the color looks a little bit better. The head sculpt is a little bit better. I wonder if you can swap out those heads, because those are just... Is that a ball joint? Oh, no, that's darn it. That's a mushroom peg sort of thing there, so I'm probably going to pop that out. But there's Wheelie. He also does come with his blaster. This is another thing. You can see that it has two little slots here on the back. You got two little posts right here on, I don't even know what those are, but it just kind of slots in right there. It kind of leaves a bit of a gap in this area, but this is something else that people kind of complain about because he comes with this gun. He does not come with this sword. The biggest thing is, again, this is big screen inspired, 86 movie, studio series, blah, blah, blah. He didn't use his sword at all in that movie. So would it have been nice to include it? Yes, but it's not accurate. You do have the little things here that if you wanted to, you can plug these little blast effects on there. So you can have something like that. But the gun looks nice. It does have a fairly short handle. It works good with his hand, so I don't mind that really all that much. But the dual barrel thing very much looks like Grimlock's gun. It's all done in this black plastic, but it's still really cool nonetheless. For Grimlock, this guy is a beast. I absolutely love him. Again, there are some issues that I do have, but all in all, this guy looks exactly how he needs to. People, again, I was talking about how in the package, this looks clear. In the cartoon, it wasn't. That was the G1 toy. So again, they're going with that animation look that he had in the movie. Now, when you come down here to the bottom, you can see this more in the robot mode. This, though, I do have a problem with. This is his chest piece. It should not be this dark of a color. It should be a lot more clear. He didn't have the whole, sunglass look on his actual chest. So that's definitely one part that I think could have been done differently. Why they didn't, I mean, they already have it there. I don't have any idea why they went that route. He also is missing the front of his teeth. You can see that the side, he's got his teeth, which all look really very, very nice. But he has no teeth in the front at all. Lower section or top section. So when you close it, he's got this weird gap thing there. That I'm not a big fan of. You do have on the inside here a little post that you can take the little blast effects as well. Plug that in there. And you can do that, which is cool. Oh, wrong way. Kind of like doing it like getting a nice large blast happening. You can't use some of the bigger ones that have the wider base. You can't really get it in there. Well, I guess that one kind of can. You kind of just wedge that in there. So, I mean, you can do something. I mean, that looks cool. I really do dig that. That's nice. But, so that's a little bit that I think is a little bit annoying. I guess, you know, he's got a little bit of a gap sort of thing right here. That might bother some people. I don't think it's terrible. The more, I don't even know what color. It's an off-white, but it kind of has a pearlescent sort of look to it. With the arms, you got the little sections right up here, and then you have that same color down here. That sticks out a little bit. Plus, I wish you could rotate his wrists here. Again, I don't know why you couldn't have, but hell, they couldn't put anything on there, so I guess that's probably why. But all in all, everything on this guy is really very well done. Let's do some comparisons, because this is the one that really kind of threw me off. First off, this was the Power of the Primes Voyager Grimlock. Now, this wasn't a bad figure, in my opinion. It suffered from having that Volcanicus gimmick thrown in there, where he can combine with the other Dinobots, which I've always thought was a stupid idea. I never liked it, which is why I never bothered doing a video showing Volcanicus, because I just thought he looked terrible. So this is what we had to go with before, but you can see, like, you got like this clear section. I mean, like, that's full on clear through the entire thing, so you can see the Autobot logo. There's actually an Autobot logo, and you might be able to see it right in there. It's really super hard to see. So that's cool. I mean, some aspects of this is really nice, but what really floored me was this comparison. This is the Masterpiece Grimlock, and you can see there is a size difference. He's a little bit bigger. It gets a whole lot more close in terms of the size when we get him in a robot mode, and you'll see that. But you have a lot of those elements, like the clear neck bit right here, the clear section right down there. There's obviously die cast in this. This goes a long way with the actual G1 toy. And you can always swap out the eyes. I mean, that was a little bonus feature. You got blue eyes like the cartoon, or you could have red eyes like the toy. But I was really surprised to see just how similar in size these guys were. And then obviously you have the whole gimmick of like, you can make his head spin and stuff. This guy doesn't have that. But the overall size just really caught me off guard. I didn't expect that really at all. This guy is really quite large, and as he should be, because the Dinobots were big. I mean, if anything, these guys were way too small to be Dinobots. And just for the heck of it, here he is with an Alicon that you can see. This is a deluxe figure, but the scaling here, I think, works really very, very nice. Now, first transformation, really very easy. If you've ever transformed a Grimlock, you basically already know what to do with this guy. First, just take his head, kind of close his mouth, pull this piece back like that, just kind of hang that right there. You got this bit in the way, that's kind of getting in the way of it locking down. Then come down here to the little chest pieces, pull this away, and then you lift up a little to clear the upper thighs of the T-Rex mode. Rotate that out like so. You can position these arms however you want. I mean, I'll just kind of bend them down like that just to kind of have them hide a little bit. This is a slightly different piece. Not a lot of times do you have to do this, but you have to pull his head up, lock that into place. Come down here to the whole lower section, kind of wiggle that, and then, again, you know, amazing amount of detail. When you look on the inside here, it's all sculpted. You don't see it except when you're transforming it. So amazing detail there. Bring this up. You got these little tab pieces that are going to kind of sit around here, but doesn't really do anything. Give that a push. Kind of locks that into place. Get these arms, just lift those up, get them out of the way for right now. Come down here to the lower parts of the legs. Split this apart like so. Take this whole bottom bit, rotate this out, and then take this, fold this down, and then accordion this in to the leg. Do that on this side as well. Fold that out, accordion this piece down into the leg, kind of leave it right there, and then take this and swivel this all the way around. Now, this piece right here, you can kind of see that you got a little sliding thing here. It pretty much goes where it needs to. You can see that it collapses inwards for the dinosaur mode, and then when you bring it around, it kind of pushes it already out because that little angle section right there. So as you bring it in, it kind of goes where it needs to, which is nice. But I like helping it along that track just so that there's no rubbing or damage. Do that on both of the legs and then fold this piece in. That locks everything into place just like so. Come around here to the feet, fold these pieces back just like that. Kind of straighten out his legs a little bit. Bring the hands out on both sides. Do that on this side as well. Bring them all the way down. And then in dinosaur mode, they bend this way, lock them into place, and then they bend down at the other elbow joint. So they kind of go both ways, but you want it like that for his robot mode. Going to play with that. So again, push that there, fold it a little bit further, bring that, and then you just angle this, take this whole section, push this. You got a little tab and slot right here. Lock that in, fold the head all the way down. Kind of angle these wings how you see fit. And when you're done, there you have the one and only Grimlock in his robot mode. And really, just about everything on this figure is perfect. The only thing that I do not like is this. I don't honestly have any idea why they decided to go with that. I mean, if I can get it in the right kind of light, like I said, you can kind of see there's an Autobot logo in there. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it there. I really have no idea why they went with that, because in the film itself, it was not like that. It was clear. So why they did that for him here really doesn't make any sense. Now, with the wheelie thing, like I said, you got little holes right here, and you can even see one on this side. All you need to do with that, get his arms lifted up out of the way. You got that little post right there. I don't know why you would want to do it on that side, other than maybe having him go backwards. That seems kind of weird. But you just peg that in there, give that a good little push, just sit them on, and then you can position this how you want, and boom, there you go. And it sits on there perfectly fine. Again, it pegs in very solidly. You don't have to worry about him falling off. So, I mean, the display is nice. I just really don't understand why they put so much articulation in everything else on this figure except for his knees. That's so weird. But staying in to take a closer look at the details for good old Grim. Coming down here a little bit so you can kind of see. I love the fact that they got the blue eyes. Again, very cartoon accurate, which again just confuses me why they went with this. Great sculpted in detail. He absolutely has that sort of proportion that Grimlock should have, with really beefy upper arms. Gorgeous gold paint. You got the red there for the crotch and everything. Gold paint here on his little dino claws and everything. Really nice. People have complained about the gap here. Yeah. Why they couldn't have put like a little flap to cover that up, I don't know. Again, that's it. To me, that's a minor complaint, though, honestly, because, I mean, otherwise he looks pretty damn good. Come down to the legs, again, tremendous detail, like in the thighs, even like all in this area. You can see all that nice sculpted in detail. And then you come down to the legs, and again, cartoon accurate sort of coloration right there. Fantastic. You look at the back, that cleans up really nice. You can position these really kind of however you want. I like that. You can hinge them up and down and go forward and back. You can put these kind of however you want. I like that the head clips in. I mean, everything on this guy is an absolute, just stellar home run, in my opinion. Now, for his articulation, much like all of the Studio Series figures, he's a very well-articulated figure. His head here is on a ball joint, so you can get a nice range of motion, looking left, right, kind of up and down, side to side, all that kind of fun stuff. You can see the articulation in his back wing sections. Shoulders here are on nice ratchet joints that go forward and back, in and out. You rotate at the upper part of the bicep. He bends at the elbow. Does get a little bit ugly with it when you go too far. I mean, like right there, looks fine because you got that little gap, but then you go a little bit further, then you got a lot of gap right there, but it's not terrible, I guess. He does rotate at the waist, the hips move forward and back. Those are also on ratchet joints. Nice joints going in and out. Rotates at the upper part of the thigh. Ratchet joints at the knees themselves. Come down to the ankles. Those have tilt, and then you got that little, see, like, why couldn't you have put something a little bit more in there? Because you got this ankle tilt that goes all the way down and it fills in that gap, which looks fantastic. I love when they do that. Fortunately, no real forward and back or anything, but as articulated as you would basically want him to be. Now, for some size comparisons, let's bring those original ones back in that I was using a minute ago. Get him to stand here. You can see, again, really a good size figure. And first up, here is that Power of the Primes one. He wasn't bad looking, but again, just because of the forced Volcanicus gimmick in him, really made him a figure that could have been great, but one of those that suffer from having a gimmick forced in it. And here we have him with the Masterpiece one. And again, like I was talking about in terms of the Dino mode, he looked a little bit bigger. And obviously he's a little bit bigger here as well, but not a lot. I mean, it was much more noticeable, I thought, in the dinosaur mode than here. I mean, realistically, when you factor in the giant shoulders and stuff, I mean, he's only about a head or so shorter than the MP version. But again, you got that clear section right there. That just looks a million times better. Because I use this guy. Here is the Alicon, so you can see how big he scales with the deluxe figure. And here he is next to the Studio Series Hot Rod. And, I mean, he's, you know, whatever size you want to say he is. Get him out of the way. And then Optimus Prime. And again, especially this scale, I think works really, really good. Again, Grimlock was massive. And I love the way that this looks. They are doing a tremendous job with the scale. And for one final comparison, here he is next to a Coca-Cola Tic Tac container. Now, first, transformation back. First, we're going to rotate these fists around like so. They tab in there very securely, which is nice. You can kind of straighten these, pull that up, and then again, you're going to want to straighten out the actual elbow and then bend it back. Well, that kind of flopped down. So if that does, just kind of bring that down. You can take the head, rotate that down like so. And then I'm going to keep that kind of out of the way. Bring this up. This is all going to flop around. Again, if you've transformed a Grimlock, you basically already know what you're doing with a few added things. And yes, somebody did ask about like the 5mm ports. He does have some on there. So, you know, you can, you shot me in the leg. So there's that. Take this piece, fold that back and around like so. Come around to the back of the legs. Open this piece up. And then this is where you slide that bit in. And like I said, because of the angled nature of this, it kind of already goes where it is meant to, which is good. I like that. And then just kind of push that all the way up. That locks into place. And then you can connect those two halves just like so. Come down to this lower section. Take this. Hinge this out. There. Do that on this side as well. And then close these around. And just make sure you squeeze everything together. Nice and secure lock, especially kind of up there. Bring the legs, just like that. Then take this whole section. This piece right underneath here is going to hook on that. That's what kind of holds everything together. So squeeze that there. Again, kind of just leave the legs there. Bring these bits down. You kind of want to angle these out to clear the thighs and then bring them down across the front of them. Tab them together, and then this just, I wonder why you got this big giant, that's interesting. I've never noticed that really before, but you plainly have like a thing right there. I have no idea what that's for. That's really weird. Straighten out the head, bring these arms how you want, and then again, you're going to take, make sure all that stays squeezed together. Bend this. Usually I'll only, I mean, there's a little bit of a ratchet joint right there. Usually I'll only kind of bend it at one point, just to kind of keep that whole thing there. I mean, you can kind of position these. The problem though is when you have it like this, he has a tendency to want to fall back because of how big that is. So I just like leaving the one joint there, one joint there. Let's see, get that about right. And then he kind of sits on his tail, which that's fine. I mean, because back in the day, that's how people thought that the T-Rex was sort of postured. So there you go. You have him back in his Dino mode. So while I love this figure, I've gushed about it throughout this entire video, there are a few aspects of him that I do wish were done differently. Starting off first with Wheelie, obviously, I really wish that they did something differently with the legs. That just really is disappointing that they didn't put articulation in them. At that Leader Class price point, I don't feel like there's any kind of excuse for that. I also wish that that little chest piece that you can kind of see in Dino mode, but you see even more of it in the robot mode, was a clearer plastic. That darker coloring just is really not good. You can't see the Autobot logo. It isn't cartoon accurate. I feel like that was something that they really missed out on. I don't get that at all. I guess they could have put the little flaps to cover up his hands. They could have put the little section in there to kind of hide that bend with the elbow. But those bits are, for me, a little bit nitpicky. The wheelie and then the chest piece, to me, are just inexcusable. It doesn't make this figure bad by any stretch of the imagination. This guy is phenomenal. And I do have my fingers crossed that we do get the rest of, well, at least Swoop, Sludge, and Slag. That would be fantastic, because the Dinobots were a very, well, popular section of Transformers. Plus, they were pretty prominent in the film. It's unfortunate that Snarl's going to get kind of left out, but he pretty much got cut in the movie as well, so kind of makes sense. But I've always liked the Stegosaurus, so it's kind of gonna suck that we may miss out on him. But either way, this guy is fantastic. Outside of the masterpiece Grimlock, which all in all people have complained about as well, mostly because of the size. He was definitely too small. Even going back to the early days of the masterpiece line, he was way too tiny of a figure. Like, if memory serves, he was actually shorter than the original Masterpiece Optimus, which was always a weird thing. But outside of that, this is without a doubt the best version of Grimlock that we've ever gotten. At least, officially. Yes, I know, Fans Toys exists. And while a lot of people have grown up with a completely different look for Grimlock because of Michael Bay, this is the look of Grimlock that I've always had in my mind. And for the most part, they absolutely nailed it. I cannot recommend this guy enough to you. Even if they don't come out with the other Dinobots, this guy is well worth having in your collection. So, all of that being said, if this version of Grimlock is a figure that you would like to add to your collection, he is hitting some retail locations right now. Mostly it's Target, that's where I got mine. So if you are looking for him, good luck and happy hunting. Or as always, you can do the real simple thing and just pre-order them online and get them from places like Big Bad Toy Store or Amazon. For that, I'll put links right down in the video description where you can go to those places and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you would do one very simple thing for me, and that's just to hit that thumbs up button. Us reviewers take a considerable amount of time to make these reviews for you guys, and it would be nice if you would just take 1 second to hit that like button. Also, I gotta send a huge shout out to all of my patrons and Optibotimus Plus channel members, who through their continued support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And if you'd like information on how you can help support my channel by becoming a patron like these guys do, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Optibotimus. Or if you want to keep all of your perks and rewards like custom comment and chat emojis, loyalty badges next to your YouTube name, exclusive member live streams, Zoom calls, as well as the occasional giveaway like these guys do, consider becoming a member of Optibotimus Plus. And for that, all you have to do is click on that little join button right down there. And finally, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.